Hey guys, it's Lonnie from Jeep Extreme. Hey, I'm going to tell you guys 5 things that I love about my Jeep. Everybody else has done this throughout the videos that I've watched and different things like that, and I just wanted to put my 2 cents in on it. I love the 2 doors. I love the 4 doors. I love them all. I love the MJ, one of my favorites. I'm 6'9", as you can see, and so I dwarf my Jeep, but I still love it. The first one I ever had was in South Dakota. My dad and I drove up there, and from Arkansas to South Dakota, kind of close to Winter, South Dakota, is 800 and something miles, and it's one way. And we drove up there, and we saw a 2-door Jeep. It was a 1993 2-door high output inline 6 4x4. It's the first Jeep I ever had, and I paid $500 for it. I drove it all the way back from South Dakota to Arkansas, and for $500, it was a little rusted and rough, but loved it. Drove it for 3 years after that. Drove it to work every day. Worked on it, a few things here and there. Redid the distributor had to be replaced, plug wires, tune up, all that stuff. But drove it for 3 years. People would make fun of me. They'd be like, Lonnie, you got this this piece of junk 2-door, but to me it was really cool. Had the spare tire carrier, the tube one in the back and everything. And they're like, man, you got this like piece of junk, and it would pop and bang around whenever, like it was at an idle. I mean, I didn't know a whole lot then mechanically about Jeeps. It was a lesson, I had to learn. So anyway, I had it, and I enjoyed it, and I sold it. I sold it for like $300. I should have never sold it. Like I said, don't sell your Jeep, and literally I keep selling them and getting them back or whatever. Got lucky enough to get this old Jim back. This is a 1989 Jeep Comanche, or MJ, and this one here is got a ton of memories in it. One of the guys that used to run with us, he isn't alive anymore, and we went fishing together and everything. I mean, hauling equipment, whatever. I ran the heck out of this. I bought this truck for $600. Drove it for like 2,000 miles, put a new head on the top of it. Drove it another 2-3 years, something like that. And then I finally ended up rebuilding the engine in it. And that was kind of a lesson learned too, learning how to rebuild engines. And this is the easiest one you can learn from. So I'm going to get into it. Number one is Jeep Cherokees. Comanches weren't built near as much, but the Jeep Cherokees were built from 1984 to 2001. The parts are so available. It's beginning to see where it's decreasing as far as the parts for these vehicles because of the off-roading, because of how cheap they are, and everything else. However, they're still out there. There's still tons of them, and they actually overseas they still produce, or they did. I haven't kept up with it, but they did produce Cherokees after 2001. They called them, I don't know if they called them something else, but they redid the grill area and different things like that. So parts are readily available. So the year span is awesome. I mean, you got a relic that is hung in there. You still see these things on the road. MJs not so much, the Comanches, but the others you do. They're just so available. Second is the fact that they're cheap. Parts on these things are so cheap. I mean, you can get it a dime a dozen, man. brakes, radiators. I replaced the radiator in this. I've done front 97 front end conversion on it, but and that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's compatible from 1989 or 1984 to 2001 or to 97 when they changed front ends. You can still put them to the old one. Anyway, the everything's cheap. I mean, the engines, the parts for everything is just dirt cheap. Clutch, flywheel, engine parts, electrical. There's just, everything's cheap. The only thing that isn't cheap on an MJ, is, they're getting harder to find. So, like your rear tail lights, if you want to keep those and not fabricate and put in some others or whatever, the old doors here with the glass and having the A-frame flip out windows or flip in windows, you just can't beat that. So that's another thing. That's one of my other things I love about this Jeep is the fact that everything's so cheap. To get for it. I can swap the glass out, as you can see in the previous video. Windshield motor. It's just cheap. Third is powertrain. Powertrain mechanics on a Jeep is dependable. It is bulletproof. They're called bulletproof. 6-cylinder inlines, 4-cylinder inlines. The fact that they have a solid axle design front and rear, so you don't have independent, it's nice because independent suspension, does, it's a smoother ride. But at the same time, it is a smooth ride. But at the same time, it's not as strong. Sometimes, it just depends. How much you fabricate it. Come on. There's some strong independent designs. With solid axle design, though, it's the strongest. I love a solid axle design. On an off-road vehicle, when you get a rock crawler, when you ever get a rock bouncer, what do they have? They have solid axle design. So the mechanics and everything of the Jeep is awesome. And the reliability is number 4. I probably mentioned it already, but however, the reliability is phenomenal. I've driven them for years. Even if I had something go bad, it was easy enough to fix to get me back on the road. And most of the time, I went to work and back and I didn't have a problem. If I did, cut out, cut in, whatever, I could start back up, I could get home for the most part. Nothing's bulletproof as far as, nothing's, how to say this, everything can fail, but at least you don't have a bunch of freaking computer crap to bother you on this thing compared to some of the others. Even whenever you get up into 97 to 2001, actually 96 is really one of the crappiest parts of the Jeep, because they started going to a lot more computer stuff, and they were trying to learn their way in, and there was glitches. So 97 or 96s, they probably have some of the 95, 96, probably have some of the worst of the computer problems than any of the Jeeps, in my opinion. Not saying they're bad. I've had 96, I've had 97s. All right, so number 5, I'd say number 5 is the fact that customization is out there. I can do whatever I want. Now, I say that you can do whatever I want with any car, right? Well, on a budget, as far as, not having much money into it, and having just that, the power to be able to do whatever I want to make this thing what I want it. And, I've converted 2-wheel drives to 4-wheel drives. I've converted I've done 3-link. I haven't done a lot of fabrication. I'm learning, and it will be ongoing. But I've done enough to know what I'm doing, and now I'm not the best welder, but I am getting better actually. And there is it's a learning process. First of all, when you get some dumb butt on the freaking YouTube and he tells you, "Oh man, your welds, oh, look at that, blah 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 blah." Hey man, it's a learning process for us all. We fail, we try. This is how you learn. This Jeep is how you learn. All my Jeeps is how I learned. And this right here, even this liner job I just did. This is the Predator color from Monster Liner with the Raptor liner. I've learned from liners, shooting liners, what works best, what has the best UV rating, what's cheap, what's affordable, and what will hold up. My opinion, that's what I go for. Not saying Monster Liner's no good, teach their own. I've used Dow's, I've used Extreme, I've used Raptor, I've used a little Monster Liner, and some other things, and this is what I like. But the customization is out there. I just put smoke lenses in right here and right here. I don't know if you can see it, but and the headlights, you can upgrade your headlights. I'm not saying I do all that, just because until it's out for a while, especially with electronics, you just don't know, what you might get something and have it in for a year and be like, man, that was cheap Chinese made crap. It just doesn't work. But the converting this thing to 4-wheel drive, which I will do in the future, and this is a 4-cylinder inline 4 that rebuilt, and it's just it's endless. If I want to make an outback truck out of it, freaking off, going out and camping and building me something in the back and jacking it all the way up, 3-link in the front, new lease in the back, coils, whatever. And that's just suspension. And then you go to, if I want to put custom camper on it, whatever. So these are the things that I love about it. All the Jeeps I've had. That you can make them freaking strong crawlers. They're lightweight. Yes, they will crush like a tin can. But if you build them right and everything like that, put the right stiffeners on them and everything, the unibody stiffeners and the, build them good. It's really, honestly, really nice. I've seen these freaking things climb crap that a V8 bouncers couldn't even freaking hold a candle to. So, they're not going to freaking tear off up a hill about 60 miles an hour with a Vortec or an LS in them, but point is, these things are reliable, they're fun, and they're great. So, I just wanted to make a quick video on it and share my ideas with you guys.